Hello, people. I'm here. I'm here on a Thursday. We're moving. The year is moving already. It's the 3rd of January. Here we go. Cheers. So I heard from two of you yesterday. Forgive me. Forgive me, folks. I made a mistake. As I've explained, I do these videos off the top of my head. I do not research anything. I'm just get on here and start talking. So yesterday when I talked about see if I can do two things at once here. No, I can't. So yesterday when I was talking about Les McCann and I brought up that historic song compared to what, I didn't, I went off the top of my head. I assumed, and this is why it is dangerous to make assumptions. Have you ever heard that old saying, to assume is to make an ass out of you and me? So, just off the top of my head, the intensity of that song compared to what? Just, I just assumed that Les McCann and Eddie Harris wrote it. But two of you made sure to let me know it wasn't him. It was Eugene McDaniels. And did I ever know that? If I did, I forgot. But here is he has a couple of albums that are very collectible. This is a reissue, but I still have it. Headless Heroes of the Apocalypse. At a recent record show, I saw the other one where he has a cowboy hat. They wanted $70 for it, so I passed. But so this is Eugene McDaniels. I don't know that he's from Omaha, my hometown, but he lived here for a while. And when he had this radio hit called Tower of Strength, do I need to look that up? I'm top of my head, that's what I remember. For some reason, I think there's a connection that either my dad or my uncles or someone actually knew or worked with Eugene McDaniels when he was in Omaha. Anyway, I stand corrected twice. I'm having fun with it. I think some of you folks really enjoy correcting me. Of course, we want to make sure people have proper information. But this is a reissue. Look at that. Beautiful. I need to play it. I need to listen to this. When I bought it kind of based on the hype about it. I mean, I knew about Eugene McDaniels, but I actually did not know about this record. I see there's a title on here called Jagger the Dagger. Well, you know who that's about, or very likely Mick Jagger is somehow involved in that, the story behind that song. So anyway, there's that. So it turns out that Les McCann passed away last Friday. So for me, the first casualty, unfortunately, of the first of the year is Chris Carrere of Amandul 2. I only brought out one album. I have almost all their albums. I've shown them before. Chris Carrere was one of the original members, played guitar, sang. I think he was one of the main people, along with John Weinzierl and Renata. So I never talked to Chris, but he and I were friends on Facebook. But I'm still friends with Renat from the band Amandul, and she and I have conversed online. So I got a personal message yesterday morning about the passing of Chris Carrere of Amandul. We're all getting up there in age, so it's just part and parcel of the game that this is just part of the process. I'm showing this one in particular because this is one of my favorite album covers. Now, the German version has a different font on the cover. I like this font better. This is such a favorite album cover. I can remember the first time I saw it. It was that strong of an impression. I can still see it as a kid, walking into this record store and looking over, and it's an A. So it was right at the front of the A's, and it wasn't new, but it wasn't that old of an album. And it was a few years before I could afford a copy of this. Now, I want to say that Amandul is one of the banner bands representing what they call krautrock. I don't like that term, but I'm using it because you know what I mean. But even back in the day, as much as I was liking Amandul, I had problems with them at first because of my musical background. This band is rough. They're hippie. It started as a commune, you know, and so these early albums, including this, there's a roughness. It's not so much punk. It's just that you can tell these guys are not that good of musicians, but they have really strong ideas. And Renate Knaup, however you say her last name, that's totally punk. She was in the commune and decided to sing. She does not have a lovely voice. If anything, it's the sort of voice that some people say is like fingernails on a chalkboard. But that's what gives it strength, is that we're just doing it. We're just doing it. This is who we are. And so they're one of my favorites. And actually, the music has grown. My love for the music has grown over the years. But they have a great riff on this album that I used to, before I owned the record, I would listen to it in my head because I want that. That's so good. I hope you say this, Mo. I received the first record to review of 2024 came in yesterday. And if I can spot it quickly, I will. Just real quick, let me see if I can spot. Yeah. Okay. So like I said, I do not prepare. Every now and then, I'll think ahead and prepare for a video. So, Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum. Do you know this band? You folks who like adventurous music, progressive, cutting edge stuff, you know this band, Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum. Well, one of the members is an online friend. We've talked. I've never met Mo, but we've actually interacted, and he asked to send me his new release, and I got it yesterday. Surplus 1980, Illusion of Consistency. This is the new release. Matter of fact, when he was putting this together, he contacted me asking for, some information about record pressing. I'm actually going to get back to him and say, how'd you get this done so quick? Who'd you go through? I'm impressed. Because I was, under the impression maybe things are much better now since COVID. Maybe the turnaround time on vinyl is better now. I'm going to ask him because here it is. This is, it's called a band, but apparently it's primarily Mo playing all the instruments, having guest musicians. There were apparently some regular members who are gone. And I think now it's mainly Mo and one other person with guests. Mine Murphy, I think, is the main other person. But among the guests on here are Fred Frith, a name you should know from Henry Cow, and other folks here from the band Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum and other bands. First impression is excellent, excellent. This is what I want more of. This is what I like. This is, it's really well put together. Look at this. He went all out. Isn't that nice? That's beautiful. Happy to report that it deserves it. This is very good. Musically, it's coming out of that bag of rock and opposition. I was listening last night and, it escaped me. But I'm even enjoying Mo's vocalizing on here because he's talking more than singing, and there's a fervor. And I also, looking at some of the words, it's like, yeah, we're on a similar wavelength. They Don't Cry Wolf, the first one with vocals, talking about people crying wolf in public. There's a lot of that in social media. I just had to ask a friend online, "What are you doing?" Because I thought she was like being kind of ridiculous. Try something else. People don't give a shit. He actually had made a CD. This is boss. This is the way to go. And a download card. Good. Hats off to Mo. This is a good way to start off the year, people. Okay. Good new adventurous music. That's what I want to tell you about. Well, I want to tell you about just good music, period. But I like stuff that's adventurous, not just weird. I don't like this. When I was younger, I was interested in discovering weird music and how far things could go. That's not the case anymore. It's interesting. I want things that are interesting. So I will post a link to Mo so he can see this. Buy that album, people. I'll post a link to this on his Bandcamp. This is good. Good drummer. Good. It's like it's a mode. It's like this mode. It's the writing, the melodies are angular. I have tried to write like this. Not very successful. Illusion of Consistency by Surplus 1980. My first new album, new record in my collection of 2024. Glad it's that. You ought to get it. So did I play a record yesterday? I didn't play a single piece of vinyl yesterday except for this. Except for the Mostiano. This is the only thing I played yesterday because I was in my studio until bedtime. And I love it. And I'll be sharing, like I have some of the newer things. I'll make some homemade video or something of some of the newer stuff that I'm making because I don't know when it will come out. But I'm real pleased. I'm making progress with my production efforts. That's really what I'm noticing. My writing is still simple, but it's coming along. I was going to try, let me just see. So I've got just all this music. If I can, no, that's not. After a while, as a collector, we end up with stuff that we just had. We'll never necessarily have it, listen to it again, but we have it. I was going to try to look up that. It's an Atlantic Records jazz sampler CD where I have Compared to What on it. But I'll just dig down here in these boxes and pull some more CDRs. Yeah, I forget how many years ago it was that I was doing this, but I'm a bit OCD, obsessive compulsive, in that if I get on a jag of something, and I like that term jag, remember when that was a slang term? If I get on a jag of an interest, I will go with it until I'm done, so. Right quick, what else can I show? Some of these I've shown these years ago. So if I end up repeating and not showing it some that I haven't shown, I don't know. Tim Hollier, and a folk artist, I forget where he's from. Love that cover. I have his other album, and it's good. I forget the title of it. This is really collectible. And expensive. I think it's because it didn't press very many copies. I've never seen a copy in real life. I love that cover. Rupert Hine is a musician producer I like very much. I showed his album Immunity recently. This is another record where I remember the cover in the stores. Pick Up a Bone. It was like, what is this? What is this? Haven't seen a copy to buy since. Here's another one of Rupert Hines, Unfinished Picture. And this is good stuff. Here's a Japanese artist I'd love to find this album. This is really good pop. Justin Heathcliff, that's not his name. I forget his real name. Very collectible, very, very good. Like, just, yeah. Here's another one of those old rock albums that I used to see a lot, never had the money to get one. The Human Beast, Volume 1. Hardy Cook. That's a note. I'd love to have a copy of that. This too, Happy Family from Japan. Pretty sure Happy Family's from Japan. And this I used to have, here's another Happy Family right quick. And this I used to have, and I'm sorry I sold it or let it go. Heidelberg. It's a jam album with members of Kron, Guru, Rodelius is on here. It's a jam album, so it's so-so, but I thought about this album a lot when I was on tour because I played in Heidelberg. We actually played in this town, and I kept thinking about that record. The Voice of Silence by Peter Michael Hamill. I have several of his albums, but none on the Vertigo label. Ambient. And then High Tide. Y'all know the High Tide with the boat sea shanties. I have a copy of that on vinyl, an original. Here's some of those right quick. Let me just don't mess up, Dereck. Oh, hell. Right quick, here's another out of the H section. A prog album that I'd love to find. I think it's Italian. Never seen a copy anywhere. Horace. But this has some cool... This is good. Horace. Stella di Battaglia. Some good stuff. Let me do another real quick dig in here and see what we got. We'll go up. We'll start in the A's. This stuff is fun. Here's another. I like the artwork. Arnie Tolkos. I forget what this sounds like. Isn't it strange? And again, I've never seen a real copy of that. Abdul Nosotros. I forget what this sounds like. Abdul. Arc. Again, maybe you can pick up on the fact that the artwork is part of what interests me as well as the music. Here is one that eludes me of my actual big collection, and forever I've never been able to get a copy of this damn album. Aim son Catalyse. It's not that good, it's just that I would like this to complete my collection, and it's one of the rock releases on a big label. It's been released again with a different label, but I want a big Ant Trip Ceremony, 24 hours. I have a Toll, but this is one I need on vinyl. They say this is their best, but the ones that I have are really good. Actuala, good stuff. Good stuff. And Dweller's Dream. I love this cover. The record is so-so, but I'd still like to have the album. I have one of their other albums, but not this. I love that cover. Accolade. They have a couple of albums that I don't see. Would like to find. April Fool with Hiromi Hosono. Still need a copy of this on vinyl. Anangaranga. Very cool. Arco Iris. And then these I want more for the covers than for the albums, but I'd still buy them if I ever saw them. I've never seen them in a store. Aunt Mary. Both covers. I just love those covers. The band is pretty good, but those covers, I love both of them. Okay, there you go. There's some more of the CD Burns. So let's see what the day brings. This is an interesting time, even, besides the fact that it's the beginning of the year, just period, new year, but we're coming up on a tumultuous anniversary, January 6th. And it's really, really sad that, to me, that we live in a time when people selectively remember what they want to and just spin reality any way they want to. January 6th was a travesty. And we have people who have just completely tried to change the picture and say, oh, it wasn't an insurrection. Oh, that wasn't so bad. All I got to say is if it was a bunch of black people or brown people who were doing that, they'd all be dead. And you know it. So I'm watching all this. And it's frustrating to me that we live in a time where it's so obviously unenlightened that the power of money and the power of power obfuscates everything, that there's no clarity. It's like whoever has the biggest wad of cash, whoever has the most clout, gets to tell their version and make people follow it. So here we are talking about trying to save democracy. And a lot of it is just because of misinformation, disinformation, bad values, racism, elitism, sexism, just anti-humanism. All that seems to be folded into this bid for power, just naked power grab. No concern about the outcome for people. So I just am, observing and not hopeful at all. It's like every time you turn around, people are finding ways to justify these unconscionable acts. Just really, it's disgusting. And it's on my mind because it's a big thing happening in the world. It's a presidential election year, and we don't have a choice. Of the two-party system, neither one of them is a choice. Both are a total disaster. So I'm observing, and it's on my mind, so you'll hear me talk about it, as well as music. My ears are okay today, low level, not too much. I'm glad to hear that folks are doing okay. Like I said, share with me how you're doing. It's not that I want to get all wrapped up in your stuff, but it's like, you can tell me how you're doing. We need the back and forth, so you can tell me how you're doing. I will read it. It doesn't mean I'm going to talk to you, but you will have been heard, okay? Thinking about your family today, I'm hoping that 2024 brings my family money. I don't even want to think about jobs. I don't want to go back to work ever. God, I hope that never happens. I have to get a day job, I just want people to be okay and have what they need. That's what I mean when I say about my family getting money. I just hope that people don't have to keep living on the edge of poverty. Take care, people.